This is Timothy Leary, speaking to you from Madrague, a beautiful fishing port outside of Algiers, Algeria. My first message is to Allen Ginsberg. I want Allen to know that I am alive and well with Rosemary, and that rumors to the contrary that I've been off by the CIA are grossly exaggerated. To continue running down some of the many rumors that have spiraled around our recent activities, yes, I did carry over the wall from the POW camp the message which has been widely reprinted in the underground press. My escape from prison and Rosemary and my escape from the country was engineered, executed, designed, and aesthetically carried off by the noble and beautiful Weatherman Underground. And since we have been in Algeria, we have been under the wise, benign, and loving protection of the Black Panthers, led by the genial genius, Eldridge Cleaver. It is true that in the company of Field Marshal D.C. of the Black Panther Party and Jennifer Dohrn and Mari Kenner, I embarked on an adventurous trip throughout the Middle East to visit the Palestinian guerrillas. All statements that we were ejected from Arab countries or received hostilely are distortions and lies by the wicked, pig, capitalist, bourgeois press. We were received every place with fraternal arms. Many people have asked me since our escape, what brought about the change in my attitude, which now appears to be more militant than before. Rosemary and I can see no change in our behavior or in our attitude. The United States government has changed in the last 10 years. We have always followed a philosophy of live and let live, love and let love, feel good, but never did we suggest or imply that it was our duty or our trip to become masochistic pigeons or to sit by quietly like good Germans and let a genocidal robot police establishment wipe us out one by one. As long as there was any pretense at constitutional law and order in the United States, we went along with it, but it became apparent to everyone about a year ago that such pretenses had worn thin and that there is not protection for the individual citizen. Who cares about freedom in the United States today? We urge no one to continue this farce. There is no excuse to collaborate with courts of justice in the United States or to cooperate with a judicial system which is clearly not concerned with justice or freedom. There's much talk these days about violence back in Babylon. You know that's all a vamp and a fraud. When a few beautiful weathermen blow up the statue of a pig in Chicago, that's considered to be violence. But the government every day accelerates its deliberate program of arming policemen, arming fascist government throughout the world. 100% of all violent weapons are owned and operated by governments. And to fight against the machine, to disconnect a mechanical robot, is not a violent act. It is a righteous gesture, a sacred muda of self-defense, a manly art, a womanly duty to off a pig who threatens your life or your freedom. It hardly seems necessary to repeat what is obvious to any clear-seeing person, that the vanguard leadership of the freedom movement in the United States is provided by the Black Panthers, who for 3 years now have stood up to protect their homes and their offices against genocidal attack. You can talk and protest as long as you want to, but it comes right down to it. It's been the Panthers who have showed us in Zen existential fashion that if you don't stand up and defend yourself, you will lose your freedom, if not your life. In the last few years, we have seen two great movements emerge in the United States, sweeping towards peace and freedom. One is a cultural revolution of people who turned on and dropped out of the pig establishment, looking for personal balance and internal freedom, at the same time that many of their brothers and sisters have enlisted in the external struggle, the political revolution. There cannot be one without the other. The political revolutionary who is not turned on is a political robot, and the power system he espouses will be no improvement on the robot system he seeks to destroy. The political revolutionary must be turned on to seek and tap his internal energy. By the same token, the hippie movement, the process of internal discovery and personal religion, if it is not tied to a social movement, becomes self-indulgent, self-preoccupied, and the energies cannot be channeled and kept moving. Much to our joy, we have seen emerging in the last few months, in the very Midwestern heart of Babylon, a movement of acid revolutionaries, turned on freedom fighters, the Weathermen Underground, beautiful and holy young people in certain touch with their internal energies and in precise control of the machinery for destroying the external genocidal system. You read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and you learn how acid produces the spiritual white light. Then you read Madrague and learn how dynamite produces the illuminating blast that blows up the external system. Blow your mind and blow up the prisons and controlling systems of the genocidal culture. The number one target of our activity and center for our prayers are the prisons, the POW camps of Babylon. There is no excuse for one brother or sister to remain a prisoner of the genocidal system. Our strongest and most beautiful leaders are now imprisoned. We must free them. Free Bobby, free John Sinclair, free Erica, free Angela Davis. Rosemary and I are now living in the third world. It's been a revelation and an education to be here. You can sense that the air is fresher and the atmosphere lighter. It is a relief to be away from the heavy metal, pig repressive atmosphere that is pervading America today. We have been very impressed at learning at close hand and face to face about the global, international nature of liberation movement all through the Middle East. As a matter of fact, in every country in the world, there are people like ourselves dedicated to fight and win freedom. A global conversation is taking place. What happens at Kent State is listened to by liberation fighters in Brazil. What happens in Uruguay stimulates and encourages liberation movements in Ireland and in Athens. It really does exist, a tremendous global brotherhood and sisterhood of people who want to live and let live and are determined that they will not compromise or bow down to a police state, militaristic government. One thing that you must know is that throughout the world, freedom-loving people look to America. They recognize that the American government is the great oppressor of freedom throughout the world, and they also recognize that the American government can only be toppled and replaced by American youth and American blacks. There's just not much time to hang around. Keep it moving. Every time the government acts, we must react. Every time the weathermen act, there's got to be mass celebrations and public demonstrations of support with these beautiful young white people. And every time the Panthers struggle for their freedom and ours, there must be public and private demonstrations of support for these vanguard heroes of our movement. Today is November 1st, 1970, the anniversary date of the beginning of the Algerian Revolution. 16 or 17 years ago, the Algerians picked up guns and started their battle for liberation against the powerful French Empire. Brothers and sisters, they won. Their deeds and their struggle for freedom have inspired similar movements in countries throughout the world. We are all together. It is one world of brotherhood and sisterhood, and freedom will come, even to J. Edgar Hoover's Babylon. In closing, Rosemary has a message for our friends in Babylon.
Smoke it, and blow it up.
Sundown,